Good evening to all. Welcome you all to this webinar on competency-based learning. Panchatantra Planet has envisaged to empower the educators with all the arsenal imperatives for effective teaching. Here they are to explore efficiency on competency-based learning. Let me introduce the guest of the evening. We have with us an expert millennial educator, Mr. Saji Jacob. He has 21 years of teaching and administrative experience in various reputed convent and public schools. He started his teaching career from Sacred Heart Convent School at Ludhiana, Punjab. He was selected by CBSE as the master trainer for monitoring and mentoring of various schools affiliated to it in Chandigarh region. He has been conducting orientation programs for teachers in various schools of Punjab and Haryana. His interests revolve around management and teaching. He has completed masters in English and Hindi with linguistics. He has an M.Ed and M.Phil in English. His passion for teaching English has made him an ELT expert. He has completed his postgraduate certificate in the teaching of English and postgraduate diploma in the training of English from the English and the Foreign Languages University, formerly known as CIEFL Hyderabad, and TKT from Cambridge University, UK. He is an adventurer at heart, and his other interests include sports, music, and dramatics. A diligent and dynamic professional, he steered his way up the ladder to manage key positions in every school he worked for. He became the principal of one of the most reputed schools in Punjab, Sacred Heart Higher Secondary School, at a very young age. Thereafter, he joined as the principal of a prestigious school in Chandigarh run by the Orthodox Fathers, St. Mary's School. In 2014, Delhi Public School Society appointed him as the principal for one of its new branches in Haryana near New Delhi, India. Before handing over the stage to him, let me take the pleasure of welcoming the Board of Directors of Panchatantra Planet as well. Let me also extend a warm welcome to the participants for whom this event is arranged. Welcome one and all. I'd like to make a small announcement here. To view this, the viewers who haven't made it to the platform today can view it on YouTube. It is live streamed. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Pradika, for the wonderful introduction. Thank you so much, and Honorable Board of Directors, Panchatantra Planet, and respected principals and teachers joining with me on this day. And once again, thank you so much for having me over here with you. And just let me share the screen first, sir. Can you see the screen full?
Yes, sir.
Thank you so much. And before we start with a disclaimer, all logos and photos and images, etc. used in this presentation are the intellectual property of the respective copyright owners and are used only for the purely educational purposes. Right. Before we begin, I would like to discuss one thing with you, that every year, it's just an introspection for us, that every year, India is producing as many engineers and MBAs as almost equal to the population of Switzerland. But in research and innovation, if you see, Switzerland is number one. This is global leaders in innovation 2019, even 21 also the same. Switzerland is leading, Sweden and United States. This just to give an idea. And the world's most innovative countries, again comes Switzerland and Sweden, United States, it's coming. So nowhere India is there. And remember my first sentence, India is producing as many engineers and MPS as almost equal to the population of Switzerland, but we are nowhere. So, and again, the annual status of education report shows the poor learning outcomes. Based on annual status of education report, as sir, 83% of the people of India are not both employable. Same way, National Employability Report of Engineers again says the same, and the same data is carried forward. That's why I'm taking this one. The new annual employability survey 2019, by Aspiring Mind reveals 80% of the Indian engineers are not fit for the jobs in the knowledge economy, and only 2.5% of them possess the skills which the industry requires. So Tech Mahindra CEO and MD CP Gurnani of Tech Mahindra has said that 94% of engineering graduates are not fit for hiring. The top 10 IT companies take only 6% of the engineering graduates. What happens to the remaining 94%? You can read more on this one. And the same way, ASSOCHAM, that is called Associate Chambers of Commerce and Industry, that 93% of MBA graduates are unemployable. Problems with some management education in India. These are all the researchers came out. Amidst this tens of thousands of management graduates turned out by 5,500 plus business schools in the country, only 7% are turned out to be employable. So you just look at the faces of these engineering graduates. See, they spend lakhs of rupees and just to get 8,000, 10,000 or 20,000 now, and that too whenever they get a job. So now, within this backdrop, we will analyze and discuss and try to find out what is wrong with our education system in India and where is the learning gap. What is the role of the school and the teachers in preparing future generation? What kind of teachers we need to bridge the gap? So now you know the changes are happening day by day. A lot of changes are happening in the curriculum, CBSE curriculum, lots of circulars we are getting every now and then, lot of changes are happening. Why they are doing it? Because the world is undergoing rapid changes in the knowledge landscape. Rapid changes in technology requires us to prepare the future generation with new tools, knowledge, and different skills that will enable them to succeed in a world that will be very different from the times that we live in today. So what actually the problem is, what I could make out, our teaching does not develop innovation. I hope you agree. This is what the CBSE is all after us, and the new NEP also coming up with the same thing. Curriculum does not prepare our students for the world of work. We make them something, cram it by heart it. They get 98, 99, 100%, but when they come to the workplace, they are not in a position to deliver. Lack of independent and creative thinking, because we want something focused and we want them to do the same. Technology not used effectively, unsequenced and fragmented curriculum, outdated syllabus, inability of the students to use the assessment into their day-to-day life. So that is why CBSE came out and discussed that teachers must work on increasing the competency and the skill development of the students. Children have to be skilled to meet the challenges of the modern world. Teachers should transform the classroom into spaces of experiential learning instead of learning by rote. These are some of the resolutions which the CBSE has given to us, and the need is to focus on enhancing children's skill set and critical thinking abilities to make them future ready by creativity and innovation. We have to insist on creativity and innovation. So now, based on this, let us see what are the solutions to solve this problem. The key factor behind unemployment and underemployment is the insufficient technological innovation and entrepreneurship in academic institutions. That's what I said, that lots of engineering graduates are being produced, but when it comes to the real innovation, that we are left behind. Now, the following are some of the solutions. So we would take up only one, that competency-based education. That is what we have to discuss on. And what is actually competency? It has been taken into two different aspects. So we'll work on both. See, once it comes like this, it is to perform a task, we need the knowledge of it, ability and skills, and we need attitude for doing the same work. So competency is taken up in two different ways. One is when we say competent teacher, what does it mean? So that's why competence means the ability to do something successfully and effectively. According to Oxford Advanced Learners Dictionary, competency means the ability to do something well. As per Merriam-Webster's dictionary, competency means the ability or the skill. So when it comes to Cambridge dictionary again, as an important skill that is needed to do a job. So CBSE has taken it in that way, the skill development, and I'm taking it up in both the ways, that a competent teacher means should have the skill as well as, what do you call it, an efficient teacher. So competency we can bring into those ways. Okay, the teacher who is having a good skill will be always competent and efficient. Now, what are we looking at? Knowledge, skills, and attitude. Competencies are defined as the set of knowledge, skills, and attitudes and values and beliefs people need it in order to be successful in life, in doing the job. Okay. Now, what is competency-based education? So, in nutshell, we can say that the learner demonstrates his or her level of attainment on the subject area. Or again, some of the educationists said this one, according to Richards and Rogers, competency-based education is focusing on outcome of learning. Competency-based education addresses what the learners need to do rather than to learn about. So in a very simple way, we can make it, competency-based education programs are an alternative way of learners to gain the skills the employers want from the employees. This is what CBSE is also coming up with, and the new NEP is also focusing on the same, because competency-based education has become a new paradigm in education, and all curriculums across the world, not only Indian curriculum, and our NEP 2020, CBSE and NCERT and even all state boards are realizing that the skills need to be developed, and they are working on it. Now, let us work on what NEP 2020 has to say about it. The new national education policy stresses on competency-based education. NEP recommends more focus on students' practical rather than application of the knowledge. Right. So when it comes to what the NEP is insisting, that education must move towards less content. Now what we are happening is, a lot of content is being delivered, children are by hearting. So less content and more towards how to think critically and solve problems. How to be creative and multidisciplinary. Right. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Yes.
Right. Okay. Thank you. CBSE has also implemented the competency-based education, and for the practical skills among the students, rather than just depending on the textbooks-based education, and things are going to be changed and new implementation. Competency-based education was the annual theme of training for 21 and 2021. And a whole lot of training was given by CBSE, and most of us attended the competency-based education training by CBSE just to go ahead the way it is. So it's an outcome-based approach to education to ensure proficiency in learning by students through demonstration of knowledge, skills, and values, attitudes that are required for dealing with a real life situation at the age and appropriate age. So competency-based education is mainly an interdisciplinary. It is project-based and research-driven. It is connected to the community. The curriculum incorporates higher order thinking skills, multiple intelligence, technology, and multimedia. Now, the curriculum is not textbook driven or fragmented, but it is thematic, project-based, and integrated. Now, since I said we have taken up this one, the competency-based education, competency of the teachers is the need of the hour. So it is time for us to change from our vocabulary of teaching We need to think differently. Children no longer love the yesterday's way of learning A for apple, B for boy, and C for cat. But what they want is A for Android, B for BlackBerry, and C for cloud. This is what the wording which the children are always used. Look at the pictures, what they are into. They know everything. So look at the multitasking of the kids, younger ones, maybe of 1.5, 2 years to 3 years children are able to do multitasking, parallel thinking, multimedia they are able to use, multi-resources using. At the same time, when we see, this is what I wanted to discuss with you, that digital native and digital immigrant. So what we should consider ourselves as a digital immigrant, and these young kids whom we are dealing with, they are digital native. They know much more than before we go to the class, discuss. So I would like to go with this one. You can analyze yourself and see where we stand. Most of us may be in millennial or generation X, not baby boomers. Okay. So the millennial, we can say that born between 1980 to 1994. And most of the teachers, I believe, of this category, and maybe some principals and like me, okay, born between 1965 to 1979. But at the same time, we are dealing with the generation Z, born between 1995 and 2050. Right. What is the speciality of them? That today's learners, they are naturally critical thinkers, inquirers, reflectors, analytical doers, and are committed to using new information to find solution. They are not going to believe what they say. They immediately Google it, check it up, and they decide what they need to do. So, what is the speciality of generation Z? See, generation Z has grown up with more access and more information than any of us, any of the generation before them. Generation Z has also grown up with YouTube and are quick to turn into the site whenever they need to see something demonstrated or want to hear a complex idea. So, what is the speciality of these people? A recent study shows that 59% of generation Z prefer to learn by watching YouTube videos. Teachers, this is what I wanted to highlight. YouTube videos, and 55% of them say that YouTube videos contributed to their education, learning, and also personal development. So generation, how does generation Z learn? If you see this data, 51% of them learn by doing, working through examples, and 38% by seeing. That's why we have this smart boards and everything on the classrooms. So that was a late afterwards, a lot of research has happened, and this multimedia has come into the classrooms also. And earlier we used to have only listening to the teacher, and 12% are only able to learn by listening to the teacher. So imagine we are dealing with those who are the YouTubers. They wanted to learn through YouTube, and they wanted to learn by doing, and where the curiosity and creativity should not be stopped. So it is high time that we appreciate that needs of our children are changing, both individually and collectively. And as leaders of education, our role is to help to build the leaders of future. Our challenges as educator is to give them information, but also a lot of informations are available, but make them use the correct information, and a teacher's influence is always there. Now, say that John Dewey, all of you know that one, very famous educationist, and he said long time back, if we teach today as we taught yesterday, we rob our children of tomorrow. So what we need to look at is, what is our teaching strategy now? The way that what we were taught during our time, are we following the same, or what needs to be done? See, Jack Ma, there is a very famous, he's from China. It's Alibaba Foundation and an executive chairman, Jack Ma from China. He is a very renowned educationist. He is into education for long. And he said once it is, if we don't change the way we teach, we will be in trouble in 30 years. And actually, this is in fact correct. And that's why we are here. We'll see what needs to be done to improve our system. See, mostly it is said that, 21st century's kids are being taught by 20th century adults using 19th century curriculums. Our curriculums are all outdated, even the curriculums of IIT also, okay, and on 18th century calendar. So, and again, like Alvin Toffler, another American expert educationist and businessman philanthropist, said that, okay, the illiterate of 21st century will not be those who cannot read and write. So everybody can read and write, but the illiterate will be those who cannot learn, unlearn, and relearn. Hence, a teacher has to unlearn the past role of a knowledge provider. What happens? Take the book, write, solve the sums. You can see the picture, what that is a methodology, and children note down and goes back, and same questions are asked in the examination, and the children get 100 out of 100. So what is the point? It's time for us to adopt and adapt the new changes taking place in the field of education. So the teacher's role, the education process is unquestionable. That you agree? Now we know that, okay, there is a need of change. But if the teachers are strong and competent, only then the nation will grow. The entire system of education would be unsteady if teachers are weak and ineffective. That's why I said competency of the teacher matters a lot. Recognizing the importance of teacher, the National Education Policy and 1986 has rightly remarked, no system of education can rise above the level of its teacher. So, and the NEP 2020 also highlight the importance of teacher and said the teacher and the teacher's condition must and will be at the center of these changes, because they truly shape our next generation of citizens. So it must do everything to empower teachers and help them to do their jobs as effectively as possible. So right from NEP 1986 and even 2020 also, they are highlighting the importance of teachers. No matter whatever the technology has come up, the teacher's position is always there. But it is time for the teacher to think and change the way the children want it. There is what the learning gap comes in that one, right? Since we, the teachers, are responsible for operating the education system, we need strong professional competencies. And do we need to deal with? Do we have the competencies and the skills to deal with 21st century learners? We may be able to utilize the computers, mobile phones, but the way the children use and the children know, we are nowhere, right? So I just wanted to, based on what we discussed, I'm just giving a small exercise. You just do, and I would like to ask any one of you can come forward and say that one. See, which of these will be your top 3 reasons for students not learning and performing to their potential? So the reasons I have given us stated 6 reasons, out of that which the top 3 reasons you select. If you just note down, a lack of motivation, lack of focus or concentration, let's have an interaction, and lack of participation and engagement in classrooms, lack of interest in learning as they find classroom teaching boring, and lack of practice and preparation and laziness. Now you tell me, out of these 6, which is the most important 3 reasons that students not learning and performing in their potential? Yeah, any one of the teachers, please contribute to yourself. One of you come forward, please take it up. What is the most important reason among these 6? Please come forward, okay? That I'll come to know that you are attending and you are gaining something.
So there are too many answers on the chat box.
Oh, yeah, right, okay, fine.
So let me help
All
you.
right, okay.
I'll read out.
So you are given the answers now. Let's have a discussion on this one. Okay, how you have done the answers? Let's see. Lack of motivation. See, 45% of 66 out of 148 students, that is 45% said that lack of motivation. Now, lack of focus and concentration, 41% say. Lack of participation or engagement in classroom, 52% say. But at the same time, lack of interest in learning as they find classroom teaching boring. 61% agree to this one, that the classroom teaching is boring. So that means we need to work on our classroom teaching, the way we look at and the way we improve. Okay, and laziness comes only 16. So if you engage the children, lack of practice and preparation means only 20% say that. So mostly it is the lack of participation and engagement in the classroom and the lack of interest in learning as they find classroom teaching boring. So these two, we should work on how to engage the children in the classroom. Now, when it comes to this one, are we updating our teaching? Are we, okay, updating our teaching as often as our cell phones? If we aren't updating our teaching practices as often as we update our cell phones, then we are doing our students a disservice. That means, you know, ever since the mobile phone started, you look at the kind of mobile phones which earlier used 25-30 years back. Now see, look at the changes. So almost 20 years are over. In 20 years time, what are the changes we have done in our teaching methodology, teaching? That is the question now. Have our assessments been updated as often as our cell phones? Or are we doing using the same test which we used 20 years ago? Have we changed the physical environment of our classrooms? Or are we still using the desk in rows and arrangements? Are we moving our classroom to students' discovery and construction of knowledge? Or are we still slowly relying on teacher lecture? That just going to the class and giving the lecture. Right. We need to think of a classroom makeover. Gone are the days when we think of having rows in the classroom. Let there be a circle, face-to-face, semicircle, so that there are no backbenchers. Now, this is what the classroom arrangement we need to do. You have to make into different groups and group activities so that children are, each one is engaged rather than a teacher is just a felicitator. Right now, I just would like you to go through this one. That there is the difference between what we were taught, the way we were taught, and now what are the changes happening, the latest methodology. So traditional teaching was competency-based teaching. When it comes a teacher-centered, traditional teaching was always a teacher is the center of the focus, and the teacher comes and teaches, and the center of attention and provider of information. And there was no question of asking the question to the teacher or something, and teacher dictates and goes. And when it comes to competency, it is student-centered, and teacher is the felicitator or a coach right now. And learners work in isolation, and the teaching takes place within the four walls of the classrooms. That is what used to happen in the traditional teaching, and it was time-based and textbook driven. But when it comes to competency-based, learners work collaboratively with the classmates and others around the world. It is a global classroom. Now you see a lot of students exchange programs, we are doing it, and all those things, and it is outcome-based, and it's a research-driven. And this is what competency-based education is all about. Let the children give the problem to them, let them find the solution and come up with that one. Now, it's passive learning. Traditional learning was almost passive, and now it is active. Little or no freedom to the students, now great deal of freedom to the students now in the competency based. And educators do not trust students and vice versa. The other way it is, students and teachers are mutual respectful relations, and they are the core learners. Okay, now in traditional teaching, no students motivation was there, and students are highly motivated. And fragmented curriculum it was in the traditional, but here it is integrated and interdisciplinary. You know, all subject, even art integration and all coming up by CBSE, all to connect all the curriculum together. It is an interdisciplinary. Now, curriculum is irrelevant and meaningless to the student, because many of the things which they need to do, like you remember an incident by Einstein saying, why should they remember the dates which is already available? So now much more, everybody has the mobile phone and everything is available. Why should they give the dates? So why should they by heart the dates? So curriculum is connected to the students' interest and experiences, talents, and the real world. So they can choose. That's why NEP is coming out with whatever options they want. They can choose all those. So now, coming back to our teaching competencies. See, teachers' competency is very much important for any education institution. In fact, the reputation of any education institution is measured by the number of competent teachers working in it. It's not that, okay, there may be 100 teachers, but there may be 10, 15 or 20 good competent teachers. You know that one. The education institution runs because of their name. The moment they leave, and the school will not be in a position to give the name. So we are looking at the competency level of the teachers. So what I mean to say that, okay, we have some of the competencies which I would like to share with you. And as a teacher, we should have these competencies at any cost. First of all, it is field competency. Field competency means, you know, the subject expert, research competency, curriculum competency, lifelong learning competency. These all competencies a teacher must possess. I'll explain to you in coming slides. Social cultural competency, emotional competency, communication competency, and ICT competency is very important, and environmental competencies. These are all which we need to look at now. Field competency means your subject expertise. That means, you know, are necessary for the teachers to conduct their profession. Field competencies means teachers' depth knowledge in the area of the subject they teach. A mathematics teacher, all right, okay. A competent teacher should have full knowledge of the subject matter of his or her she teaches, and must be familiar with the curriculum content and the latest development happening in the field of education. Now, I'd like to give you to just make you engage. Teachers, I have given the maths teachers, those who are joined, you can just work on it. I need answers immediately. And the two, this is for maths and English department. Just give you some, you can put the answers in the chat box, or you can explain. Anybody would like to answer this one, you can come forward. So we can have an interaction. So mathematics department, one question to you. I need answers ready-made in seconds. Okay. There are 10 people on the stage. They are shaking hands with one another without repeating. How many shake hands can take place on the stage? This is a competency. A teacher should be competent enough to give the answers immediately. Or in English, I've given you two. Any answers anybody would like to answer?
This is Pratika. For the first one, change into passive voice. The ship is sailing can be written as the ship is being sailed.
Yeah, it is right. Absolutely right. I'll take that once again. Okay. Maths teachers, anybody? Mathematics department, anybody is attending mathematics department? Any answers, or you can give it in the chat box?
There are answers like 20 and 40.
Yes, both are wrong. Right, anyway, so you take it and just work on it. So you'll just come to know that one, okay? Yeah, the English, I got the answers from the teachers. That's right. Okay, So English, we shall discuss about it later. We say that, okay, discuss means to talk about. So about is the passive voice
About
answer, I have
shouldn't.
already got it. And I know where he lives means it is into, I know his residence, into simple sentence. Okay, that's correct. Science also, I'm leaving it to you. You can take a screenshot and put the answers into this one. Social studies department, anybody? Just to make you think, that's all, nothing else.
Teachers,
Yeah, social studies.
If you wanted to speak, please use hand raise option so that we can help you.
Right.
If you wanted to speak, yeah.
The one Hindi teacher has mentioned Premchand and Kabir. The chat
Yeah,
box.
fine, okay. But a little more deeper, they have to go into. There is one another. There was one very famous writer has come. You know, in the that is with him only that started. Anyway, that we will discuss later. That is, this is one. One who has written Hindi teacher. I would like to ask you this one. That one who has written the story. Usne kaha tha. Chandradhar Sharma Guleri, one of the most famous writer, and he happened to die at a young age. Otherwise, he could have been much, the critics say that, okay, much better writer, much better contributor than even Premchand. But anyway, now social studies department, anyone like to? It's a very simple logic is to be applied. Anyway, so I'm leaving it to you. I think there are answers coming in chat box also. Now, when it comes to research competency, what I said that, you know, research is actually innovation and creating new knowledge. And that is what CBSE says that, okay, we have to create new knowledge. A lot of innovation has to take place. And if you have seen Pariksha Par Charcha, before that, Prime Minister has visited an exhibition, and before interacting with you, you might have seen the kind of creativity the children have shown displayed. So that kind of creativity is what we are expecting. That's why a teacher should have the research competency, means a research-oriented teacher will help the students to generate, discover, invent, and create new knowledge. Rather than, that is what is important. If a teacher is research-oriented, he will definitely help the students to gain scientific skills and scientific process skills among the students. Now, when it comes to curriculum competencies, that is, you know, you have been given a curriculum by CBSE, okay, whichever board we are into. But the implementation of the curriculum, that is the creativity of the teacher. That is where I was mentioning about the curriculum competencies. A teacher should know how to make a learner-centered and adaptive curriculum to the changing needs of the students, teachers, and the society, so that the classes will be enjoyable and interesting, and the children will be able to attain. Lifelong learning competencies include the ability to learning to learn, and they refer to the teachers' responsibilities for their own learning and development of lifelong learning skills for the students. So like we say, you know, the teaching never stops. We keep on updating, adding new knowledge. As teachers and doctors, they keep on improving the knowledge. We keep on, that's why it is a lifelong learning competency. Whatever new is there. If teachers have lifelong learning competencies, students become also lifelong learners. Then comes emotional competencies, very important for a teacher. That teachers' emotional competencies can help the students to learn, and the students' willingness to learn can also be increased if the teachers know how to improve the emotional dimension of the students' learning. Learning requires emotional support that creates positive feeling for teaching learning process. Because if teacher is coming totally unstable and comes and cries in front of the students, and you know, that is not. That's why it said that, okay, emotional quotient is very important for a teacher while going to the classrooms. And social cultural competencies, there is a strong relationship between the learning and the student's social cultural background. If a child is not learning something, there may be different background at the home. So we have to analyze the cultural background of the child. This is the ability of the teacher to know the social cultural background of the students, because some teachers will immediately come to know the background of the children before they come into the class, so that accordingly the teacher can gauge and give. There are many education researches available to provide that the social cultural competencies can promote students' learning. So now coming back to communication competencies, you know very well that, okay, communication is what makes a teacher the best. And there are so many ways of communicating, and teachers is always a sign languages. So in teaching, 85% is body language and 15% only verbal communication. So with your gestures and your actions, the children are more attracted and they will be able to pick up fast. And information and communication technologies as ICTs, we know that when it's the need of the hour, and COVID-19 has forced all of us to move from this physical to the digital. So ICT this is very important for us. Now, environmental competencies. Now CBSE has also come up with this one, as a lot of environmental awareness is being given to include that. What these include the knowledge, attitude, and skills about the ecological system and the environment, such as keeping clean of the available environment, management of ecological resources, being aware of ecosystem, feasible use of natural resources, and these are all what comes in the environmental competencies. So we have to find out all these competencies are very important for a teacher to give a balanced teaching methodology to adopt in the classroom, so that the teachers can come out with better solutions and better results can come in this way. Now I would like to give you I'm putting this one in the chat box. It is a matter of 5 to 10 minutes. So can you just solve this one? You can just it is given, the link is given to you. I have around 20 questions to discuss with you. This is all based on the competency of a teacher. A competent teacher is one who can. So there are options given to you. Have you got the? All of you got the link? Is there in the chat box?
Yes, sir. The link is there in the chat box.
Yeah. So I'll give you 10 minutes for you. There are 20 questions are there. 10 minutes is sufficient. You can just go through. It's a very simple and a very logical questions. And it's actually related to the teaching learning, that the situation you are facing in the classrooms. It's on competency-based education. Started doing now?
Yes, sir.
Okay, your time starts. Please continue. Very good. Many of you are completing. Wonderful.
Sir, there is one person, Mr. Sunil Kumar. He has raised his hand.
Yeah. Please. Okay. Sir, please
Yes,
carry
Mr.
on.
Sunil Kumar, please come forward with your question, sir. Mr. Sunil?
Good evening, sir.
Yes. Good evening.
Sir, it is not the question. It's about the question which you put on the screen regarding social. It rained cats and dogs
Yeah.
during this period, but
Yes. Right. Yeah.
did
It was
not get
Taj
built.
Mahal was
Built
never
during his
built.
period. It was built during Shah
Yes,
Jahan's
fine.
period.
That's the logic. That's the only logic. That means, a teacher who knows the history will immediately find it out. That's wonderful. Yeah. That
Thank
was
you,
the
sir.
answer I expected. Very good.
Thank you, sir.
Welcome.
I guess most of them have completed.
Yeah, let us switch over. Any point to be discussed? Any question out of this? Anyone would like to discuss? Where you find something difficulty or you find something tricky that we can just discuss one, otherwise we can proceed. Anybody would like to take up any question? Any question number? Right, teachers? Then we can proceed?
Yes, sir.
All right, okay. Now, dear teachers, anyway, one thing is very clear that you have to be very competent. Now, There are 4 types of teachers. You know, some teachers are teachers by choice. From the very beginning, some by chance, they happen to, some by force, some by accident. So first you have to decide, how come I become a teacher, whether by choice or by chance or by force or by accident. Right? This is clear? Then, once, you know, it is said that, okay, choose a job you love and you will never have to work a day in your life. This is a very famous quote by Confucius. And if you love teaching, you find ways and means to make yourself busy and come to school and enjoy the teaching learning process. Now that brings to me the famous quote by William Arthur Watt, an educationist: the mediocre teacher tells, a good teacher explains, and a superior teacher demonstrates, and a great teacher inspires. And a competent teacher is supposed to be a great teacher who inspires. And many a times you might have heard the children coming and telling, okay, I want to be a teacher, because he might have influence or she might have influenced by one of you. So that is the influence which we can make it into. So we don't want any more mediocre teachers. We need the great teacher who inspires the children to come forward. So now let's see. A truly amazing teacher can change your world. Right? Okay. A great teacher can change the student's life. One word of appreciation from a teacher can change the whole life of a child. At the same time, one word of criticism, discouragement, or humiliation can spoil the life of a child. You see that one, okay? So we always say that, okay, praise a child in public and always criticize, even if at all you wanted to, in private, call him to the staff room or wherever, and you just correct. Don't. Okay, now, what does it mean? The relationship in the teaching learning, that the secret in education lies in respecting the students. If you respect the students, they will show the same respect. And that is what we have to work for. Avoid any disrespectful behavior. Give a patient hearing to all children in the class. If you show students warmth, respect, and interest, they will run through the walls for you. Praise a child and criticize in private. Now, this is what I just wanted to. Hundreds of human flowers pass through my hands every year, and do I gently touch them? What I always tell my teachers that, okay, try to touch the heart of the students, so that once you emotionally connect to the child will be in a better position to follow you. And you see in our classes also, you know, the teacher whom we love the most, we used to do the work. So that, try to touch the heart of the children if you want to be a competent teacher. Now, next, okay. My cheerful nature will certainly brighten the lives of my students. And do I? Am I going to the school with a cheerful nature or smile, or I'm angry, will deal with the children? That's why I said, if you love your profession, you will be very happy to be with your students in the class, and you give maximum to them. And children also feel love to come to the class. Now, as a teacher, I am given the power to touch these eager buds to blossom forth into the beautiful lives. Now, is my presence in the classroom bringing brightness and beauty into the lives of children, or creating pain in the tender hearts of the young minds? So, how motherly or fatherly I am to my children? Have I the eyes to see such moving moments in the classroom? If so, how do you help the child? So these curious looks are directed towards me. Oh, God, awaken my powers to perceive such gazes and dreams of the children. What is my response to such bewildered looks I often encounter in my classrooms? Okay, will my ego ever permit me to offer a helping hand to the feeble child under my care? Enable your pupils to bloom into beautiful flowers. Great teachers empower and encourage students to soar high in the sky in terms of achievements. Great teachers always train their students to aim high in life, strengthening their potential to the maximum. Giraffe's vision is required to be a good teacher. Be alert, attentive, active, and aware of what is going on in your class. How effective you are when you stand before your students. So, focused and determined, searching together, leaping forward towards a new tomorrow. Are you leading your students in the same direction? So this is what we wanted to do. Being a competent teacher, being an efficient teacher, when we say that we are able to stand in front of the students tall and convey our message to them, and they should be able to take up whatever we give to them without rejection and objection. So now, this is just when it comes to the skill development also, every child will come out school, adapt at one skill at least. This is what NEP is saying. So what I wanted to say that, see, it's not that all the students need to be doctors or engineers or some professionals, but there are various skills and we need to work on it. I just would like to share you one or two just example I just come across. You look at the boy, this is a skill of a boy. See the jump, how high he is from this one. You know, he is one of the CBSE, this cluster competition, this team was the winner just because of this one boy. You know, it happened last year or something, before COVID. See the jump, the skill, what I'm trying to say now. These are some of the students which we have find in my class school, you know. So there may be students who will be working and who are good at. So NEP is suggesting that find out the skill and try to bring them up. At least in some area, the children will be able to come up. So with this, I'm just stopping this and we would like to have at least 10-15 minutes of discussion. So I'm just giving the floor to you. Please let us have a discussion on based on whatever we discussed, because it was one-way communication, I know. So now we'll start with the question answers discussion so that we can gain something from each other. Let me stop sharing the screen.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, please.
Teachers, please come forward with your questions.
Yeah. Anybody, please come, because this is just some theoretical part. I just gave it to you. My ideas I just shared with you. Now we have to discuss how we implement, how we can go ahead with. You know, I know it's very easy to just come and speak something, but when it practically comes, a teacher knows the difficulties. And being a teacher, I know myself what kind of difficulties we face normally. The expectations are very high from the society, from the parents, from the management. Yeah, please. Let's have an open discussion, please. Anything related to the competency-based questions, which we have done around 20 questions, we did it. I'll share the result with the organizers. You can share with the others.
Thank you. Teachers, you can use the hand raise option if you wanted to talk something. Then you can unmute you. So
I guess Mr. Radhakrishnan would like to speak.
Yes, Mr. Radhakrishnan, please.
I think that one of our directors, Radhakrishnan sir, is here. Sir,
Radhakrishnan sir, welcome, first of all.
Sir is unable to unmute. Robinson? Yeah.
Namaste, sir. Namaste, sir. I'm sorry.
Thank you so much.
Quite late.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Yeah.
It's really a wonderful session, sir. Actually, absolutely brilliant.
No, actually, what happened, you know, is just I have one hour, so I just went just putting it across you. Now we have some 10-20 minutes or times, and we can discuss, you know, the most important point can be shared over there, you know.
Dear teachers, use your hand raise option so that we can easily unmute you. So that's important. So kindly use it.
Vinu sir, I think multiple voice is coming. I think multiple voice is coming. So
Yeah, right.
let's raise the hands. Audience, please raise your hand. Those who want to ask questions, please raise your hand. Yeah. Yeah, are you able to hear me? Are you able to hear me?
Yes, sir. You're audible.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, dear audience, what I wanted to tell you is you raise your hand if you want to talk. Then it will go smoothly. We can unmute you and we can have a chat or have an interaction with the resource person. And to start the discussion, I didn't hear completely. I was on YouTube while traveling at all. But finally, I reached home now. So then I joined.
Okay.
I'm very sorry, says Sajid Jacob, sir, but I heard a little bit. It was a wonderful session. So some of the points I could see.
And
Yeah.
other things are happy to see that so many teachers from Kuwait also here, from your place.
I could see our ISR also. I could see the ISR, Bhavan Smart School principal. He also joined. I have shared in the group and all. Maybe from Bhavan's many people joined. Maybe from Bhavan's many people joined.
More than that, SAR's presentation was very perfect, I think. So I think that there is no doubt at all.
Yeah, ISR, are you here, ISR?
Mr. Mahesh?
Mahesh ISR, are you here? I have seen you have signed in once. Maybe he's on YouTube.
Yeah.
Right. Maybe from YouTube they might have joined.
Yeah. I have seen on YouTube that I think so.
Right.
He joined. Yeah.
Sir, I think that there is no messages in the chat box. So you have done a wonderful job. Everything is clear to everyone. So all are happy. I think so. Because it's
question number, see, somebody has mentioned, can you make question number 10 more clear? So let me take the question number 10. Right. Okay. That's a very good question. So let's see what is the correct answer. So I'll just read it for you. Can you hear me? So the question number 10 was, to make classroom teaching more effective, every teacher should. And the options were discuss with colleagues, analyze responses of students, keep himself or herself abreast in the development in the area of his or her subject, and publish his or her writings. So the correct option, I don't know, anybody can speak out? Once again, I repeat, to make classroom teaching more effective, every teacher should discuss with colleagues. There is no point in discussing with colleagues. Second is analyze responses of students. Third option is keep him or herself abreast. That means the teacher should be abreast of development of the area in his or her subject and publish his or her writing. So the correct option is 3. Option number 3, that is keep himself or herself abreast with the development. If the teacher is outdated, teacher will not be able to give the correct information to the students. So the answer, whoever is written C option is the correct answer for question number 10. Like any other question? Would like to take up?
Oh, can I ask one question, sir?
Yeah, sure. Please.
Actually, one common hindrance that we find when implementing competency-based learning is the largest, more number of students in a classroom. So in that case, how are we to do it in a very proper way?
See, right, agree. So what I would like to suggest here, okay, in foreign countries, it is always the different case. It's around 25, maximum 30 students in a class. But in Indian system, I know maybe 40 to 50 students. 55 also sometimes it happens. So I can understand the difficulties the teachers are facing. Just for example, even the communication skill, just one skill we are talking about. See, competency is all about skill development. But when you make it communication skill, if it's a large classroom, when the teacher goes there, just for example, one child will not be even able to get 1 second to discuss. So, and most of the time teachers are only giving the lectures. So what I suggest is put the children into different groups and make the classroom in a row and give the task to the children so that everybody participates and take a leader from that one. For one day, who is the leader? Another day, another child can be the leader. So suppose you are making 40 students into 4 groups of 10 or 7 or 8 each. So take one group. So give the question to them. Let them discuss, analyze, and come out with that one. So one of the presenter can do it. We give a lot of PowerPoint presentations also like this. That way their ICT skill is improved, their communication skill is improved, their collaboration comes up. You know, all those things will come together so that the students are also engaged into, rather than we go there. Just for example, we have to take a play, Julius Caesar. So there are 10, 20 characters in the play which we are taking up. Divide the class into 2. One group can take same, another group, and there can be a competition type. So each child will be getting a role. Once they do that one, they will automatically by heart the other dialogues also, and the questions they will be able to do properly. Now, the same way, in science and everything, you give some project to them. Some parts let this group do, some parts some other group do, then assemble together. So that, you know, so the skills, at least they are able to do something rather than just listening to the teacher how to make a generator, just for example. So you just give the lectures to them, maybe some videos are shown, but at the same time, the spare parts are brought and the children are working on it. You know, so the participation also comes and the children are engaged better and they get more interest to do the work.
Thank you, sir. You've answered my question.
Thank you.
We have one another person actually who's raised his hand, Mr. Sunil Kumar. Could you please shoot out your question, sir?
Sunil Kumar, please come forward.
You can unmute yourself. Sunil Kumar, you can unmute yourself now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good evening, sir. Once again, good evening.
Yeah.
Now,
Good evening, sir.
at the starting, sir, we came to know that competencies are defined in various ways by various dictionaries.
Right.
But I personally feel that altogether, the teaching competencies has to be redefined, giving the new dimensions,
Agree.
because it reflects the value, the belief, the behavior which the teacher demonstrates and practices for the development of the human being in the classroom. So it would be leading to what development takes place of the whole life of human and education.
Yes, right. So, you know, agree, sir. That is what, you know, I was just mentioning the last, some of the last slides about the way we have to deal with the children. First of all, our way of dealing is very important. Of course, competency, we speak about the level or the skills development and the efficiency and all those things we mentioned. But at the same time, first thing is the values, inculcating the values among them. So if the teachers are with the full good values, so they can inculcate that values. That's why that the 3-4 slides which I said, are we able to see the background of the children, from where they are coming, what might be the reason for a child not doing the homework, maybe lazy. There may be some reasons, maybe some fight happening at the back of the child. Parents maybe not getting along with each other, so the fight is happening. So with different background, the child comes to the school, and on the top, the teachers target is also something very high. Expectations are very high. The teachers are also telling this is to be done today. So but just imagine the emotional trauma the child is undergoing. So this is what you mentioned, of course, right? The first thing is the value education. Try to consider the other one as a human being. Now, if you see that one, it is that values are being just eradicating like anything. Only self-centeredness is coming up. And that's what even value education is, what is the most important thing which we need to inculcate. And what I would like to say in this regard is that, okay, this is all in the hands of the teachers. How you take it up within the limits, what best we can give to the children. That is all in our hands, sir. We know the skills are there and we are all skilled. When you are selected to this post, it is because of your skill, your knowledge. That's why you have been given this post. Now, how to implement and how to give better practice to the children, that's all in the hands of the teachers.
So a teacher should be a lifelong learner, because the aim of education
Yeah, lifelong
changes
learner.
very
That's
quickly,
yeah, very
depending
good, very
upon
good. That's what we
the
mentioned.
era
Yeah,
requiring
right, sir.
more capability for the teacher.
Yeah, right. Because we cannot stop it into technologies are changing. The needs of the children are also changing accordingly. So we should look at the needs of the sea. I have been taught in this way. I will be going the same way only. That should not be happening. That we need to keep on changing our way of dealing with the children. How best we can, what best we can give to the children. That should be our attitude.
Right, sir. Thank you, sir.
So one teacher had actually mentioned the answer for the question, math question.
Yeah.
It is 45
question
handshakes, I guess.
Yeah. 45 is the correct answer. Right. Absolutely
Yes,
right. 45.
Anandi ma'am from Adarsh Vidya Kendra, she's on YouTube, so she's mentioning it.
Yeah, it is correct. 45 is the correct answer.
Okay.
It's just, I know there will be teachers from different groups, so I just thought I'm not an expert in maths, but some of the questions which I used to take up for the interviews and all, that's why I've just taken it up gathered. So I may not be able to give a detailed answer, but the answer is correct. 45 is the correct answer.
So one more question in the chat box. How competency-based learning is applicable in kindergarten? Will you please suggest some activities?
Yeah, fine. See, kindergarten is the most important area where, like we said, the STEM activities. What is STEM activities? Okay, so what we know, I'll just tell you. What we do over here also, the same thing. Children are given, now we are teaching about the different shapes of, what do you call it, water. Like in, we are asking the children to put some water, this one in the fridge, boil it, the same one, afterwards shake it and boil it and see, and what are the 3 stages of water, so this will be, and the children experiment themselves. Like when it comes to germination and all those things, we are asking the children to bring some small pots and with this one seeds and everything, and then daily they put, and they come to know how things are happening. These are all the small ways, the skill development, small activities which is taken so that children are observing. The more they observe, they are curious, and they do the same thing at home also. So KG kindergarten classes competency based, just for example, when we say that small sentences, we are asking them to frame sentences on their own. So the communication skill comes up. Give some word to them. Ask them to make as many sentences as possible. They may not be writing, but at least they can speak out. Taking the word school itself. Ask the children, use this word school and make as many sentences as possible. Give a chance to them, give time to them, they will be able to come up. So give small experiments of their age level so that they will be able to come up with that one, and that way the skills will automatically develop. Rather than we give some stories. Storytelling is one of the good ways. So children themselves can come up with the storytelling, the communication skill, their expressions, their emotions, everything comes up into that one.
Thank you, sir.
Of course, it's all difficult, but we have to start somewhere. Like what I said in the beginning, that this many engineers are come out, but we are nowhere in the innovation. And all good brains are going to different countries. And we are still left with like that, So this is what happens with us. Brain drain is happening. And all good ones are there. They are hired by the other countries. And we are still left with. And when it comes to our teaching and everything, the good teachers, we are missing out every time. For the higher education, if you see the IITs and all the syllabus, it's always that the discussion happening, it's all outdated. If the children, there are no universities which gives the current, the knowledge which that employers are looking for. So what happened? They have to go into the corporate and they have to study 1 or 2 years and get some diplomas. With that, they are able to, even after doing their IITs and all, to able to get good jobs, with good packages. These are all because of the skills.
Absolutely.
There's one more question.
Yes, ma'am.
On the chat box, there's one more question. How does personalized competency-based education exist within career readiness opportunities?
Within career readiness opportunities, yeah. How does personalized competency-based education? See, there are various, like we said, various competencies, various skills. But what A child is interested, just for example, I'm telling, he's interested in engineering. Maybe the child is interested only in computer engineering. Because now, so then the question is, the child has to prepare right from the beginning. So even in grade 9th and 10th, there is an option for computer subject. See, this can be an additional 6 subjects. He should opt for it. So that what I'm trying to say, that the child is 9th and 10th and 11th and 12th, there is again computer course coming up. So what happens normally, children, in order to score the coaching oriented students, what they happen, they wanted to do only chemistry, physics, maths. The coaching oriented, they go for physical education, or because you don't have to spend more time on this one. And what happened, 9th and 10th also, they don't study, they concentrate only on the coaching and they clear. And the toppers always prefer computer, CS, always take. But they haven't studied computer for 9th, 10th, 11th and 12th. Because it's just a matter of, they wanted to get through this one and they cannot study. So they take physical education or music or something of that sort for scoring purpose in 11th and 12th. And they graduation, when they come Bachelor of Engineering, they go for computer science. So the gap, though they may be very, because they have to clear the entrance, because there are 16 to 20 lakhs people are there. And the first 100 students are only able to get into the top IITs for the computer science. First 100 students. Maybe first 500 may go, and none of the students have opted for computer science. They are all opting different things because their concentration is to get into IIT with the coaching, cracking the IITs, JEE Advanced and Main, So this is what I said, that, what we can do, that they have to identify if the child is interested in computer science, he has to go accordingly. Child is interested in electronics. So there should be something where the child should get a hands-on activity practice. That is what CBSE is telling, the hands-on activity has to be given. If the child is interested in this particular, then like plumbing, gardening, carpentry, everything is introduced. Those who are interested, we are not expecting that, okay, all students will go only for computer engineering. So they should, and the school should be giving opportunities for them to work on it. And that's what NEP is insisting, and that curriculum is reviewed, it is going to come up, with the options, various options are given to the children. Who is not interested in the history, why should he study history and civics or political science up to 10th grade? So let them go for something different, what they want. So that the flexibility of curriculum is coming up. Let's wait, maybe by this year, little they are introducing. So new books are underway for the for NCRT, and CBSE is also looking into that. So maybe in 2-3 years time, things will be a little more better. That's what I can say right now.
Excellent, sir. Excellent, excellent. To add to that, what I can say is, to add to what Saji Jacob sir has told, we were into a box. Okay, and in that box, we were just transferring information. That's what we are doing. And even now, the same thing is happening. So first of all, we need to have an out-of-box thinking regarding the activities that we conduct in the schools. Now you take, for example, 6 to 8. This section has got plenty of time because there is no syllabus restriction, or what I can say, a syllabus completion pressure and all, 6 to 8. So I'm taking you to another paradigm. That's what I wanted to tell you. Now, sir was talking about plumbing, electric work, a lot of things. Now, suppose your school is having 500 students. You may be having an electrician come plumber in the school for maintenance purpose and all. Okay, have a team of children. That means we used to have house activities, right? House activities. We used to give different duties to different houses. For weekly, you give plumbing and electric work along with the electrician to one group, one house. That is the way I am taking. You have to think in new ways. Then naturally what happens, that 25 children from one house will be working for, along with the electrician and plumber, 25 children will be working for maintaining that area. So they will get trained or exposed. And by that, what happens? Respect towards plumbing and electric job. And they will get some basic skills. This is what we have to do. This is just an example. This is what CBSE, NCRT, as sir was telling, insisting on. But are we looking in that direction? That is what.
Yeah,
There are
just to
few.
add on to that one, just to
Yeah,
add
yeah.
on that what you said, so like we have monthly newsletter and yearly
Yeah.
annual magazine. So we have
Yeah.
students editors of around 10 to 12 students. Every year we select those who are interested into that one. And it is their duty to design and to get the write-up and write it. Only teachers will just, okay, proofreading it like that when you give it, So what happens? And every year we keep on changing the students. One year they become the students editor. So they have gained the skill. So they know
Yeah.
how to designing is done, how magazine can be arranged. And so now in the long run, somebody, those who wanted to go into the designing part. So they have got hands-on experience from their 1 year experience every year, every month. So mostly they spend, and it is done at home. We'll say that, okay, this article, this point, okay, you have to, the editor of Cheap also is from the students only. So he or she divides the work among the students. So what happens with that? They are getting expertise and they will be becoming better designers in the long run.
Absolutely.
And they, better that they do kind of videos, YouTubes and everything,
Right.
So all assemblies, everything, they come out with all the song singing and everything, they club together and 5 students are singing together. That's all they themselves edit everything. So that opportunity to be given, then they will be able to come up.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. That's what the school should rethink and recast the programs of the school. That is very essential. And the same way, as sir is telling, same way, we were discussing about that corporate job skills. And one of the most important corporate job skill is critical and innovative thinking. And how this critical and innovative thinking can come up or can inculcate. And one of the most important factor when we think about that particular aspect is reflective learning. That CBSE is insisting on reflective learning, even NDP and all insisting on reflective learning. And the best way to develop reflective learning, whether you have 60 kids or 80 kids or 100 kids in the class, you can see KV's introduced it wonderfully well. The daily diary writing. That is one aspect, learner's diary. They call it learner's diary. So after completion of after completing each lesson, each and every child reflect on what they learned. And they write on 3 questions, what new thing they learned and what challenges they faced and what they wish to learn or improve upon that. So at that time, what happens? They learn about reflective learning and their own thinking comes in. So such type of things we have to try to add on with our curriculum or whatever we practice. That will help the children to become more critical thinkers. And independent thinking is very essential. I can tell you why I am talking about this independent thinking. Why it is very essential? Because independent thinking is dying across the world. Even though we are talking about it. Because most of the time we are carried away by either by the media or by the public perceptions or by some leaders. Something is happening. So when we follow the leaders or when we follow the media or something, a perception is created in our mind. So this perception kills our thinking. So what we have to teach the children, how to pull data, how to analyze, and how to reach to our own conclusion and our own opinion. That is very important when we go to the companies also. Otherwise, what will happen? These children will start waiting for someone to give ideas and that they will follow. And finally, they will become brainless. And brainless children, no company wanted. Everyone is looking for innovative thinkers. So my dear teachers, think about how can we make them innovative thinkers? Open-ended questions should be added. Let them express whether it is right or wrong. Let them express. That is what competency we have to inculcate. Yes, sir, you can, Sajid, sir. I'm sorry, I'm interrupting. I'm very sorry.
No, that's good. Okay, no. So the point I wanted to say this one, the World Economic Forum in the last meeting held in January 2020 estimated that about 1 million people have to be reskilled and has launched their reskilling revolution. That's just to add on to what you said, So the aim is to provide better education, new skills, and better work to 1 billion people around the world by 2030. Because whatever skills which we are going to develop will not come up. That's why I said by 2030, Reskilling is after completing engineering, they are not worth employable. MBA. So the skills is what is important. We know after a teacher comes to us after having B.Ed, the kind of training which we give to make them to our expectation, to match. So when it comes to engineering fields, you can just imagine what else is there. So by 2030, a lot of changes are going to happen. So that is why CBSE also foreseen this one and started working on it. Skill development is what? At least one skill. You wanted to be a good player, tennis player, okay, fine. But the skill of that, you know, that is what, there may be lakhs of people. So you have to be the best among that. Like cricketers are selected from India. Out of 135, 40 crores of 11 team, 20 people are selected. So how best they could be, they have to be selected into that field. So this is what skill is, what is going to take you to the next level. So that skill development among the students is what we have to work on.
Yeah, and as I said, to add to that, these certificates are going to be invalid in the coming years. That's what the people should understand. Even few days back, I forgot his name, one industrialist has told, American industrialist has told that I opt for skilled people. I don't consider what qualification they bring onto the table, because I'm not bothered about qualifications, whether they are PhD or whether they are BTech or MTech. I'm not bothered. I check whether they can do the job I entrust. So that's the second thing. Now, sir was talking about they opt for music, this one, that one, and all to score marks. And these marks are going to be irrelevant. That CBSE understood, India government understood, so that in NEP it emphasis on this particular aspect, skill-based education. Now, only way for our children to get into life, get and flourish is the only ways to get skilled in different aspects. There is no other way. That's what I think. Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Radhakrishnan sir and Saji sir. So very end was actually really rocking. So brainstorming session for everyone. Yeah. Anyhow, one more happy news is actually we crossed 50 webinars. Panchatantra Planet's 50th webinar, and fortunately, my very close friend Saji sir joined with us. Radhakrishnan sir also in the last moment he also came back because he is also busy with his schoolwork. We are very happy to see everyone together here. I think that we can wind up this session. I invite Kritika ma'am. Just you can invite
her. We have come to the end of the event, the program today. May I request Ms. Kamarajani, the academic coordinator of Adarsh Vidya Kendra, to propose a vote of thanks. Please, ma'am.
Good evening, everyone. On behalf of the teaching community, I extend a really hearty vote of thanks to our resource person, Mr. Saji Jacob sir, who is the eminent principal of Esteemed Bhavan School, Bahrain, to spare his valuable time from his busy schedule to grace our 50th Panchatantra program. Today, we teachers had an opportunity to add your thoughts, and this will surely design as a competent teacher with effective classrooms, sir. Really, sir, we learn a lot. Your 21 years of administrative experience as a principal and administrator in various convent and public schools. We could really see that, sir, in your presentation. And we have learned about the difference between the digital native and the digital immigrants by your valuable information and well-designed slides, sir. You rightly said the teacher's responsibility to give values for the students. I think some might have seen this. There's a viral video in the social medias and even the evening newspapers. 2 students in the classroom dancing very badly in front of a teacher in the classroom. So you made us how to solve this learning gap. Really, if we teachers take your words and make ourselves as a competent teacher, shows all type of competency, we could avoid this kind of things happening inside that, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much for your valuable words and the valuable slides to make us to think of who we are, what type of teacher we are. We could be able to grant ourselves by your presentations. And I would like to thank our Panchatantra planet. Because sir, in his in his talk, he said, we need strong professional competencies. We teachers are from 20th century. We have to teach the 21st century skills to the 21st century teachers. Panchatantra is giving training for the 20th century teachers to feed the 21st century students, sir. Definitely we will do, sir. We teachers are ready to convert ourselves as a 21st century teachers, and we must equip ourselves to teach the Alpha Gen, sir. And your revocable service, and Radhakrishnan sir, Vinu sir, and all other team members are doing the divine service. Your service to humanity is a rent we are paying to the God for our saying safety in earth. Really, Panchatantra planet is doing the same. Thank you, the team of Panchatantra, for your wonderful service. And I extend heartfelt thanks to Kritika ma'am to give a good start in the 50th Panchatantra program. And I too feel so happy to thank all my dynamic and enthusiastic teachers who are ready to teach for the 21st century after hearing your talk. Thank you so much. Thank you, the great teaching faculty. And thank you, the great Panchatantra and the great teacher. You said a great teacher can change the world. Yes, you, Sajid Jacob, sir, a great teacher, helping us to design ourselves a competent teacher. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you, one and all. Thank you, one and all.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am, for the wonderful words. Thank you, sir. And I wish all the best to Panchatantra for the next 50 training. So I'll join you on 100 again. Okay, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Right. Okay, fine.
See you. See you, Sajid sir. Okay. I know that.
Sajid sir, thank you so much.
Welcome,
Sajid sir,
welcome,
thank
sir.
you
Okay.
so much. Thank you so much. And also for Sajid sir, for your information, you were talking about the CBSE is coming with the new books and all, right? And to add to that, Panchatantra curriculum is getting ready. We are also coming out with our own books.
Oh, wonderful. Yeah,
more than 50% of the content creation is over. And the Panchatantra books will be taking the schools to a different level, because it will be interlinked and what I can say, multidisciplinary approach book. Not just on the cover page that a new NEP based. No, inside it will be multidisciplinary, transdisciplinary, and everything you can see with all the packages. That means whatever type of activities you have to include for what I can say, our competency-based learning, whatever activities you need, where you have to go, how it can be conducted. It will be an all-comprehensive one. That will be coming in the 2023-24 session. We are working behind it, and more than 50% of the creation is over with the well-known writers. And again, I can tell you that we have collaborated for that purpose. We have collaborated with one of the most reputed publication groups in India, which is working for more than 65 years in the country. And they are having more than 5,000 schools under their publication division. So Panchatantra Planet's book will be coming within a year. So wait for that. That's all I wanted to really inform everyone.
Thank you so much, sir. That's nice. Okay, fine. Can we have a photograph, sir?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, sure.
All teachers together?
All teachers.
All
Okay,
teachers,
we can
kindly switch on your camera.
Joint. Okay, many of them are left now. Okay.
Those who are on board,
Kindly
can
please
you
switch
all
on your
unmute your
cameras.
Yeah. Can you all unmute?
Robin, could you please make it like a normal grid view?
Yeah, everyone is requested to unmute the video. Everyone is requested. There are different at different streams we can take the photos with the sir. So all are requested to unmute. Once again, I request you to unmute yourself. Yes, on the first screen, I can see to an extent still there are people yet to unmute, but I am not waiting. I am going to take the first screenshot. So all can smile. Should not be hesitant to smile. That's all I wanted to tell. Yeah. Now we are going to the second one. The second screen, no one is unmuted. Please unmute. Please unmute your video, please.
Teachers.
All participants are requested to unmute.
Hari sir? Saraswati madam?
Yeah,
Merin?
very few people only be unmuted. Okay, still I have taken 2 streams. 2 streams are only there now. Yeah. I will share with you, Saji sir. We will share with you. Okay.
Thank you,
Yeah.
sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And we
I
can,
wish you all the
Saji
best,
sir,
teachers. Nice to see you, all of
Saji-
you. Thank you so much.
Saji sir, we can share with you the YouTube link too. Okay, YouTube link too. we
Oh,
will
thank
be
you so
sharing
much.
it.
Okay, fine. Sure.
Okay,
Okay,
we'll
sir.
be sharing
Thank you
it.
so much.
Okay, okay. Thank you. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
See you.
Bye. Thank you so much, sir.